The Iceman Conway leads the field off into turns 1 and 2. Danny Blackwell shuffles his Oldsmobile up along the inside of Harold Murphy to challenge for the second place position on the field. And then Raymond Johnson in car number 0 goes at 4th. Buddy Vertrees in a good side-by-side battle with Chuck Barnes as they move into turns 3 and 4. Coming around to complete lap number 1, and it's the Iceman, Tony Conway, who leads the field off into turns 1 and 2. Harold Murphy rides at 2nd. Danny Blackwell goes 3rd. Raymond Johnson at 4th. Chuck Barnes goes 5th. At 6th, it's Buddy Vertrees. Then a side-by-side battle between Jeff Roberts, Roger Vincent, Larry Holbert, and then Danny Skaggs, and then the number X1 of John Basham. So that's the way the first half of the field looks as they move through the intersection, and the number 89 of Rick Kelly just gives no quarter at that intersection, and there's Jim Berry in car number X51. He too is looking for action at the intersection, although his left rear tire is down a little bit. They move into turns 3 and 4 now. In the X54, the Iceman, Tony Conway, leads the field out of turn 4 and down through the intersection. Donnie Skaggs right there as well.
So they're all fired up.
Jim Berry in car number X51 appears to be headed back towards the pit area after 3 laps of competition. And again, getting very close at the intersection. Our leader, Tony Conway, out of turn 4. One car turns it sideways. It's Danny Skaggs, and then driving Dan Moody nearly collects our leader, Tony Conway, at the intersection. Already excitement there, and it's Phil Radford in car number X40 who stopped at the intersection. 1 lap down to the leaders as they move into turns 3 and 4. Harold Murphy still runs at 2nd. Danny Blackwell goes 3rd. Raymond Johnson at 4th. Chuck Barnes and Buddy Vertrees have made a little contact in the 3rd and 4th turns. Barnes spins around, but there's still plenty of time as the red flag comes out. The red flag coming out at lap number 4. Red flag coming out at lap 4. What's the reason for the red? Car number 06, Harold Murphy, losing the hood on his automobile. After 4 laps of competition, the number 54 of Tony Conway was the leader. Car number 06, Harold Murphy, running at 2nd. Danny Blackwell as the field comes out of turn 4. And the green flag is back out. Danny Blackwell out of Edgewood, Kentucky, going for the number 1 spot. Lock bumpers momentarily with Tony Conway, shakes the Iceman free, and back in black moves down into turns 3 and 4 in front of the VIP Luxury Suite. Car number X54, Tony Conway, rides at 2nd. Chuck Barnes up to 3rd. Raymond Johnson goes 4th, and Jeff Roberts now rounding out the top 5. Buddy Vertrees in the number 41 challenging for the 5th place position as they move into turns 1 and 2. An awesome pack of automobiles clear the 1st and 2nd turns. After 5 laps of competition, 20 to go. And it's Danny Blackwell, defending winner of this Pronto Auto Parts Motorcraft Twin 25 1 year ago, slows at the intersection momentarily for Danny Carnes. Tony Conway could not take advantage of the situation at that point, but now has pulled up along the inside of Danny Blackwell as they exit turn 2. It'll be Phil Radford slowing and stopping at the intersection along with Danny Carnes in the number 35 as they allow the leaders to pass by. It'll be Danny Blackwell in the number 77. Banquet Table Buffet Racing Oldsmobile, who shows the way, shoots the gap at the intersection, and blasts out front. Moving in behind the number 56 of Bill Riley Jr. and his Hall Brother Auto Parts Racing Chevrolet. BRJ set to go 1 lap down as the field moves into turns 3 and 4. Tony Conway trying to draw a bead on Danny Blackwell now as the field exits turn 4. And the front 4 automobiles are all bumper to bumper as Donnie Skaggs, now Dennis Knoll, become 1 lap down to the leaders. It's Danny Blackwell and smoke appearing from his car. It could be tire smoke as it appears to disappear at the intersection. Back into turns 3 and 4. Blackwell gets around Bill Riley Jr. and has put him 1 lap down. Doug Miller collecting the number 40 of Phil Radford right before the intersection. It looks like everyone will clear away from that part of the action as the number 89 of Rick Kelly stops and then takes a short lap at the intersection. It's Danny Blackwell who shows the way. Tony Conway running at 2nd. Chuck Barnes goes 3rd. Raymond Johnson at 4th. And Jeff Roberts rounding out the top 5. Going 6th on the field, it's Buddy Vertrees. 7th to Larry Holbert. 8th now to Roger Vincent. 9th to Buck Skaggs. And rounding out the top 10, the number 1 of John Basham as they scoot through the intersection. Pat Pierce turning a little sideways in front of Rick Hine, but he straightens the machine out and as they race back into turns 1 and 2. They continue to circle this Louisville Motor Speedway during the Pronto Auto Parts Motorcraft Twin 25s, the first of 2 25-lap feature events here tonight for the Figure 8 division. And Gregg in the X79 is spared at the intersection by our race leader, the number 77 of Danny Blackwell.
Frank Scott, that smoke gets more prevalent every lap from Danny Blackwell, and we'll see. And, you know, as you were talking about, Danny had to go through some problems last week, had to get another car ready for this event. It's run good. It got him up front. He's leading the race, but you got to wonder about that smoke as the laps tick off. And there's a wheel off on the chute coming right across the chute. Look out. That wheel is rolling, and it looks like it will harmlessly go near the infield lights, but that's always a nervous situation with a wheel coming off, and I'm not sure who lost it. Looks like it would either be the Riley car or the 40 car. Gregg Witt's lost it. There he is, pulling right down the front straightaway in the 78, and he's not doing the asphalt any good, but he's driving the hub on back.
Halfway signal goes up on the field now. 13 laps completed. 12 to go here tonight in the first of 2 25-lap feature events, and Danny Blackwell has to lock them down at the intersection. It allows Tony Conway to close within a half a car length as the field moves over to turn 4. They're out of turn number 4 and down through the chute, and look out, Danny Blackwell. How close can you get at that intersection? And he's messing with Jim Berry in the number X51. Blackwell and Conway head over to turn 2.
Blackwell's experience showing again. He had to get on the binders. Conway shot to the outside, but didn't have quite enough. Blackwell is so tough, and Mr. Black leads him on around. Remember, you know what they're running for right now, Frank? Not just to win, the dead last starting spot in the next 25.
I don't know how Danny Blackwell or Tony Conway, for that matter, would feel about starting dead last in that second 25-lapper. However, they move over to turn 2, and Danny Blackwell's going to have to shoot that intersection. And he slows once again. Here comes Conway with the momentum. Tony Conway looking to the outside, and Gregg and Moore, Used Cars Racing Chevrolet, challenging the Banquet Table Buffet Racing Buick down through the intersection, and Danny Blackwell cuts the intersection. Conway's right there with him.
And Jim Berry again made another hole that wasn't there. I continue to be amazed at how Jim Berry comes through the intersection.
Okay, Danny Blackwell again escapes a collision at the intersection. Jim Berry and Tony Conway getting very, very close at that intersection. Coming around now to complete lap number 17 of this event as the laps are winding down. It's Blackwell and Conway back, and then it's Chuck Barnes at 3rd. Raymond Johnson goes 4th, and Jeff Roberts along with Buddy Vertrees.
I think the good news for the leaders, Frank, is they're cutting so much faster laps than Jim Berry that I think they, for the most part, are going to avoid him for a while.
I tell you what, Doug Miller in the X13, that Club Caddies Racing Chevrolet, just about had a bout with that Southwest Body Shop Racing Impala of Jim Berry. The leaders are out of turn 4, and they're back through the intersection. And Larry Holbert in the X14 looks like he's got a sprinkler system set off in his machine as it has stalled just past the start-finish line after 18 laps of competition. And I tell you, Scott Douglas, it looks as though we may get a caution flag period because Okolona, Kentucky's Larry Holbert is definitely sitting in a bad location right there just after the start-finish line, and a bad situation could get worse as the caution flag flies at lap number 19. 19 up on the board. Danny Blackwell's out front along with Tony Conway and the number 5 of Chuck Barnes. Raymond Johnson goes 4th on the field, and rounding out the top 5, the number 86 of Jeff Roberts. Caution flag displayed at lap number 19 for Okolona, Kentucky's Larry Holbert and the Robert Holbert Trucking Company Racing Chevrolet, as that car looks like he has just set off the sprinkler system there. It is definitely overheating, and it's time lap before the green flag comes back out. Dan Moody and the number 63 along with the number 38 of Dennis Knoll now just joining the lineup. Word from the souvenir stand is that this week's Junior Fan Club member, the winner after the drawing tonight was Amanda Basham. Amanda Basham, and Amanda's favorite driver is John Basham.
Oh, kids.
And they will get to go on the pace car lap next this coming Friday night, a week from tonight here at Louisville Motor Speedway. We also need for Katie to babble. Please go to the front gate, please. Katie to babble, please go to the front gate.
Good, press box.
Getting set to go now, the number 77 of Danny Blackwell. Two-time Figure 8 champion here at Louisville Motor Speedway. The defending winner of the Pronto Auto Parts Motorcraft Critical Restart. The green flag is out, and it's Blackwell going to the vanguard into turns 1 and 2. A critical battle for second could develop, but Tony Conway will drop in and take over the number 2 spot. Chuck Barnes now challenged on the inside, and it looks like we've got one car stalling in the 3rd and 4th turn area. And they immediately put caution on the field for Gregg Witt in the X79. His machine evidently stopped on that restart. And I tell you what, that's a very, very bad thing to have happen, as one car suddenly stopped going into turns 3 and 4. Our Bud Light push car has come out to the assistance of the X79, but it looks like Gregg Witt has gotten that car restarted. 6 to go to the checkered flag. And the field moving cautiously past the 3rd turn VIP suite with all our members from Pronto Auto Parts enjoying the races here this evening. It's Danny Blackwell pacing the field down. The green flag is back out and we're racing. And back into turns 1 and 2. Conway trying to battle Blackwell up along the outside. He thinks the better of it, tucks back in line, and they'll move through the intersection. Single file formation back to around 5th. And there we see Buddy Vertrees going to the whip up along the outside of Chuck Barnes as they scoot into turns 3 and 4. Buddy looking for some traction on the outside. Jeff Roberts will come up to challenge on the outside as they move back into turns 1 and 2. Chuck Barnes in trouble, collected by the number 86 of Jeff Roberts going into turns 1 and 2. Barnes headed back towards the pit area for a tire replacement. Left rear tire cut down on Chuck Barnes' machine. The leaders work out of turn 4, and they're in single file formation as they cross through the intersection and into turns 1 and 2. And it looks like the number 89 of Rick Kelly spinning around in the 3rd turn area of the racetrack, and he too has a left rear tire cut down. Into turns 3 and 4 now. Coming around to complete lap number 22, and it's Danny Blackwell out front, defending winner of this Pronto Auto Parts Motorcraft Twin 25. Into turns 1 and 2, and it's a 3-car draft for the lead as they head over to turn number 2. Blackwell opening up about a car length advantage, gets on the brakes at the intersection. Conway couldn't take advantage of the number 1 spot as they scoot into turns 3 and 4. Again, you can throw a blanket over the top 3 cars as they exit turn 4. A hole opens at the intersection. Blackwell, Conway, and Johnson shoot the gap. Back into turns 1 and 2 now with 23 laps completed, less than 2 laps to go. And Danny Blackwell again showing signs of smoke. Again works the outside of Rick Kelly moving into turns 3 and 4 to put him yet another lap down. It's Conway still holding on to second place. Raymond Johnson goes third as they scoot through the intersection. The white flag is out, less than 1 lap to go. Danny Blackwell again emits a puff of smoke from the back end of that Buick. Heads over to turn 2. It's Conway riding at second. Raymond Johnson goes third. Buddy Vertrees at 4th. And into turns 3 and 4. Over to turn number 4, coming through the intersection for the final time. And it's Danny Blackwell of Edgewood, Kentucky, taking the win in the first Pronto Auto Parts Motorcraft 25-lap feature event. Across the line at second, it's Tony Conway in the X54. Raymond Johnson finishes up at 3rd, followed by the 41 of Buddy Vertrees, and the number 16 of Roger Vincent is scored up on the leaderboard in the number 5 spot.